Welcome to Join Up Dots.
Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you, and good morning to you, and welcome again to the Join Up Dots podcast. Do you get fed up with me saying that? Do you still tune in? Do you drop off? If you have been there right from the early days, I really appreciate you sticking around. And if you've just found us recently, thank you for finding us, and tell somebody else, because we've got a lot of good stuff here. And it's honest, it's real, it's authentic. And I'm a great believer in trying to dispel the myth that online business is easy, that you can just do something for a weekend and start making money. It takes time. And if we get right straight into it, I think the person who actually probably did a lot of damage on this was the guy, Tim Ferriss, the guy behind the 4-Hour Work Week. Now, you probably heard of the 4-Hour Work Week. It was the book that certainly got me excited, and it's the book that made everyone believe they could sip margaritas on a beach while their bank account magically refilled itself. And look, I love a good bit of optimism. I'm probably more optimistic than most people. But let's be real, most people reading that book aren't setting up automated cash machines overnight. It just doesn't really happen. So is the 4-Hour Work Week a myth? Kind of. It is kind of. But it is certainly possible to work less and earn more money. Absolutely. It just takes a different approach. So what we're going to do in this episode, we're going to break it down and we're going to make it easier for you guys to follow. Now, I've read the 4-Hour Work Week. It was the book that changed my life. It was the one that, page 44, I read an article or read a part of it, and it basically did this math. And it said, if you come to work for 8 hours a day and you do this, you do that, basically you've spent your entire life building somebody else's dream or something like that. And it was a real eye-opener to me that actually if I wanted to make something happen, I had to get out and do it. Now, he had some brilliant ideas at the time. He talked about outsourcing, automation, getting rid of pointless tasks that just bog you down, and they are all good stuff. But what most people missed is that he put in years of groundwork before he got to that level. The truth is, unless you're sitting on a gold mine of passive income, you can't just launch a business and just peace out after 4 hours a week. The dream isn't a total lie, but it's often misinterpreted. So if you're expecting to replace your 40-hour grind with 4 hours of clicking refresh on your PayPal bank balance, then you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Now, I've got a life, as I say now, that I have income streams coming to me left, right and centre. And the thing that I aimed for was to get beyond my survival level, my bills that I had to pay. And then the second level was to get enough capital into bank accounts that the interest was actually paying my bills. And so all the income that I was then earning was just profit. And once you get to that point, then things become very easy. I'll be honest, it's a very easy life that I've got now. Now, if you actually want that kind of life, then and you actually sort of want to work less and earn more, it's absolutely possible, but you need to do this thing first. You need to put in the work up front. There's no shortcut around this. You need to build a foundation that can run without you eventually. You need to learn. You need to experience. You probably need to make a few misses here or there. It's like a plane taking off. It burns most of its fuel at the start because you're pushing against gravity. You're pushing against your current life. But once it's in the air, it just cruises. But you've got to really aim for getting your business off the ground as soon as possible, and it's not going to be overnight. So I think these are just the key parts to the 4-hour work week, which are really, really valuable and are still valuable today. And I think, first of all, you've got to build a real business, not just a kind of blog, not just a hobby. You need to run something that other people really want, okay? And they want it without you constantly feeding it. So it could be an online course, it could be a membership site, it could be an affiliate business, it could be anything, as long as it's scalable and as long as it's what other people want. And this is the big thing where people screw up. Basically, they're looking for the passion, they're looking for the enthusiasm about something, and I keep on saying to them time and time again, forget the passion for the task. Think about the passion for how your life's going to be. You know, do anything you can to get yourself to that point quicker. But people don't really want to know that. They want to do all the sexy thing. They want to do the sort of drop shipping and stuff. And there was a guy actually who came through the course. We do a lot of business coaching, and he was saying to me that he read the 4-hour work week, and he was going to set up a drop shipping store, and he was going to do it in a weekend and be on a yacht by Christmas. So from memory, he went over onto AliExpress, he found some cheap products, he ran Facebook ads, and he waited for the sales. Now, he didn't get to where he wanted to be. The problem, his margins were razor thin. Shipping times weren't good, and customer complaints kind of piled up. And within 3 months, he'd spent more on ads than he'd made in sales. So he shut the store down and went back to his day job. Now, what he should have done, he should have not thought about it as doing a business straight away. He should have thought about it that he was learning. You know, it's all about learning. And it's all about understanding what went wrong so that you can navigate through that later, okay? And so when we get back onto it, you really do have to think about scale. You think about passion for how your life's going to be, not the passion for what you're actually doing. And you've got to think about how you can automate everything you can. Now, if you're still answering every email, manually invoicing clients and doing everything yourself, you're not building a 4-hour work week. You're just freelancing. So you've got to think about, am I doing this task multiple times? And can I set up a system which means I don't actually have to be involved in it? And you can set up these systems quite easily and remove yourself from the equation as much as possible. I literally, honestly, I can't express this more. I literally do... It probably is about 4 hours a week now, looking at this. But I do a lot more than that. But actually what I have to do is about 4 hours a week. But everything else is just things that I fancy doing because I've separated myself from the task, okay? And you got to create multiple streams of income. People set up businesses and they just rely on that one income source. It's risky. You need a mix of active and passive income. Maybe you coach people one-on-one. Maybe you sell a digital course. Maybe you run a podcast and make affiliate sales. I'm actually starting to become the host of a pub quiz down the road, and I don't need the money, I don't need it at all, but they said to me, would you do it? And I said, yeah, okay. And I did a couple for free, and they said, we'd like you to take over when the guy who normally does it's not there. And I said, yeah, no problem at all, but I want to be paid. And they said, yeah, no problem at all, how much do you want? I told them, and that's another income source, and it's nothing more than going down there and reading out the questions on a microphone for an hour and a half and then coming home. It's easy money, and I'm always on the lookout for easy money because it makes your life easier. Okay, so it might sound a bit doom and gloom. It might seem that it's not possible, but it's not. People have cracked the code. People that have worked with us through Join Up Dots have cracked the code, but they all followed a similar pattern. They worked hard up front, they brought in smart systems, and they were adaptable. You know, there's a guy called Mark, and he has started, it was a blog at the beginning about personal finance. And now it's more a consultancy business. And for the first 2 years, he made nothing, but he was accepting. And he kept writing, building an audience, and eventually he monetized with affiliate links and stuff, and then he actually built it into a consultancy, and he works about 10 hours a week managing his business, and the income keeps flowing. Okay, and I've got loads of stories about this. There was a guy called Jake, and he launched a fitness membership site, and he started off trying to do it online, but actually he realised that what he needed to do was do it in the real world. So now he does boot camps where he gets into a local park with people and he gets them to run around and jump up and down and stuff. And I think he's got something like 130 members that pay him £20 a month, you know, and that's pretty good money. It's predictable, it's a recurring income stream, and now he can build from that point. Okay, but he did the work at the beginning. So if you're listening to all these podcasts, if you're listening to any of them where they talk about drop shipping this and Amazon FBA, and you've got to know that people are telling you the knowledge after they've done the work. The real goal here isn't to do nothing and still get paid. It's about your freedom. It's about structuring your work so you do more of what you love and less of what drains you. And some weeks you might work 10 hours, you might work 40 because you're building something and you're passionate about it and it's exciting. The key is that you choose, and that's the real dream, I think. It's not a 4-hour work week, but it's a flexible work week where you call the shots, where you're not glued to a desk, but you're still bringing in multiple income streams of cash. Some a lot, some not a lot, but they all build up. And if you're doing it when you're working in a normal job, then it makes your life easier because you can start putting more into your mortgage or whatever to pay off your debts, so you become cash free or debt free. And once you get to the point, that's the utopia. That's when everything you then earn becomes interest. And I look at it now, and in the United Kingdom, the interest rate's around about 5%. I'd like it to be 20% because I got no debt, so I don't care at all. People with mortgages and stuff, that's a struggle. People with credit card debts and stuff. But once you get to the point where you're not hanging around for cash because you're debt free, then life changes forever. So don't fall for the hype, guys. Okay, instead, just get smart, build something sustainable, and design a life where you work less because you can, not because a book told you to. Okay, be real, be practical, and if you need any questions answered at all, just joinupdots@gmail.com, and we're here to help you and give you the real information, because there's a lot of myth out there, and the first one was the kind of 4-hour work week myth, but it does work if you're willing to put in the work. You can do it. Go out and make it happen. We'll see you again. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
David doesn't want you to become a faded version of the brilliant self you were once to become. So he's put together an amazing guide for you called the 8 Pieces of Advice That Every Successful Entrepreneur Practices, including the 2 that changed his life. Head over to joinupdots.com to download this amazing guide for free, and we'll see you tomorrow on Join Up Dots.